In the mid-1950s, when Detroit was roaring with massive V8 engines, a small company called American Motors Corporation, or AMC, stood on the sidelines. They only had modest inline sixes. Reliable, yes, but far from powerful. Then, in 1956, AMC shocked everyone with something unexpected: the 250 cubic inch V8. It wasn't just their first in-house engine, it was the turning point that redefined AMC's place in American motoring history. Compact, light, yet surprisingly strong, the 250 didn't just keep AMC alive. It paved the way for legendary successors like the 287, 327, and 390. Today, few remember it, but without the 250, AMC might have vanished from America's automotive story long ago. In 1954, two struggling automakers, Nash and Hudson, merged to form American Motors Corporation, hoping to create a fourth major capable of challenging GM, Ford, and Chrysler. But after the initial excitement faded, AMC soon realized a harsh truth. They lacked the most important weapon, a V8 of their own. At that time, AMC relied on Nash's inline sixes, economical but underpowered, while every rival flaunted their mighty V8s. Refusing to remain dependent, CEO George Romney made a bold decision: to invest millions of dollars into developing a completely new V8, designed and built entirely in-house. They built an entirely new production line in Kenosha, Wisconsin, where engineers had to innovate down to the millimeter. What they created was the AMC 250Ci DV8, a design both simple and brilliant, a 90-degree V8 displacing 250 cubic inches with a 3.50 by 3.25-inch bore and stroke, 8.5:1 compression ratio, and a traditional pushrod layout. The block was cast from high-strength iron, with thinner but tougher walls to cut weight without sacrificing strength. Its forged steel crankshaft was perfectly balanced for smooth operation, while the full-pressure lubrication system distributed oil evenly across all bearings, an impressive engineering feat for a small manufacturer. The cylinder heads featured wedge-shaped combustion chambers, cross-flow valve arrangement, and larger valves to improve breathing and combustion efficiency. The rockers, push rods, and valve springs were finely tuned for stability at higher RPMs, with minimal noise and vibration. Weighing only about 600 pounds, it was noticeably lighter than the Ford Y-Block 272 or Chevy 265, giving AMC's cars sharper throttle response and better balance. The 250 was engineered around a philosophy of maximum efficiency from minimal means. Every component simplified, accessible, and optimized for low-cost production and easy servicing. From the moment it debuted, AMC's 4.1-liter V8 surprised automotive journalists, not for its looks, but for what it could truly deliver. With precise engineering and a well-balanced compression ratio, this compact powerhouse produced 190 horsepower and 250 pound-feet of torque, figures that made Detroit's engineers take notice. In Motor Trend's 1956 road tests, the little V8 from Kenosha showed instant throttle response, brisk acceleration, and an impressive smoothness across the rev range. Rather than shouting for attention, it delivered power steadily and confidently, just as AMC envisioned with its smart performance philosophy. Beyond its output, this 4.1-liter heart proved exceptionally tough. In extended endurance testing, it maintained consistent power for hours without overheating. Thanks to AMC's refined cooling and lubrication systems, the company's first-generation V8 ran reliably in every driving condition, from highways to steep grades. Drivers of the era praised its refined pull, steady torque, and quiet confidence, while fuel economy of 16 to 18 miles per gallon stood out among 1950s V8s. In 1957, AMC did the unthinkable. They boldly installed their own V8 engine into a Rambler Rebel, a compact, lightweight, and unassuming car. At a time when high performance meant big, flashy, and fuel-hungry, the Rebel was a paradox. Tuned by AMC with a higher compression ratio and a performance 4-barrel carburetor, the Rebel's V8 produced 255 horsepower, matching the Chevy 283 fuel-injected Corvette of the same era. On the drag strip, the Rebel could sprint from 0 to 60 miles per hour in about 7 seconds, stunning even seasoned Corvette drivers. What made the Rebel truly special wasn't just its speed, it was its attitude. A small, affordable car that dared to challenge Detroit's muscle icons. The press crowned it America's first sleeper, a mild-looking machine that could embarrass giants on the track. The blend of Kenosha's V8 and the Rambler's lightweight unibody created a near-perfect formula, fast, stable, and surprisingly easy to control. AMC even tested the Bendix electrojector fuel injection system, but the technology of the time wasn't yet mature enough for mass production. Still, the attempt alone revealed AMC's bold engineering ambition. Only about 1,500 Rebels were built, yet their legacy was enormous. Through the Rebel, AMC's humble 250 V8 broke past technical limits, transforming from a survival effort into a symbol of speed. And they didn't stop there. The engineering team in Kenosha embarked on the next phase, expanding the 250's limits without redesigning it from scratch. By lengthening the piston stroke and refining the combustion chambers, AMC introduced the 287 CID version in 1957, stronger with greater torque, yet still built upon the same basic block. 2 years later came the 327 CID, boosting output to 270 to 300 horsepower, rivaling the larger engines from GM and Ford. What made this achievement remarkable was that all versions were based on the same architecture originally developed for the 250. Thanks to clever design, AMC could reuse the same casting molds, crankshafts, and cylinder heads, changing only internal components to handle greater displacement. This approach significantly reduced manufacturing costs while delivering superior performance, a smart, resourceful move for a small automaker working within tight budgets. Beyond power, these new iterations were smoother and more durable. AMC engineers reinforced the lubrication system, optimized cooling, and used higher-grade materials for pistons and bearings. As a result, the 287 and 327 could withstand continuous heavy loads without sacrificing stability, a feat few small automakers could claim at the time. By the early 1960s, AMC's 250 V8, the engine that paved the way for the Kenosha-built V8 family, was gradually replaced by its own descendants. With the introduction of the 287 and 327 cubic-inch engines offering greater power and refinement, the 250 began to look modest in the eyes of American buyers obsessed with horsepower and speed. Meanwhile, the production cost of the 250 was nearly identical to that of the 287, leaving AMC with little financial reason to continue building a smaller, less powerful version. In 1961, the 250's production line was officially shut down, ending the brief yet meaningful journey of a true pioneer. Yet this ending was far from sad. The 250 had fulfilled its purpose, laying the groundwork for AMC's next generation of V8s. The engineering architecture, manufacturing standards, and efficiency-driven philosophy it introduced became the blueprint for every engine that followed. Yet the AMC 250, born from a small company in Kenosha, stood tall among the big three giants, never appearing weak. When it debuted, the Chevrolet 265 V8, Ford 272Y Block, and Chrysler 277 Poly were household names. However, in terms of power-to-weight and power-to-displacement ratios, the AMC 250 actually outperformed them. While competitors relied on larger displacement to reach similar output, AMC achieved it through lightweight design, optimal compression, and efficient combustion chambers. The AMC engine was also more fuel-efficient, thanks to its stable air-fuel ratio and low internal friction, a quality that made period engineers admit AMC's engineering is as precise as a Swiss watch, while others only chase horsepower. That difference made the 250 arguably America's first smart V8, paving the way for the later compact V8 philosophy. Engines that were light, efficient, yet powerful. The influence of the 250 extended far beyond AMC. Its philosophy of maximum performance from minimal means inspired engines such as the Chevy 283, Ford 260 Windsor, and Chrysler 318 Poly. Though it was never loudly celebrated, the 250 quietly started that revolution. Today, the AMC 250 V8 is rarely seen on the road. Most were replaced, dismantled, or lost to time. Yet for AMC enthusiasts, especially restorers and collectors, the 250 holds a meaning that goes far beyond engineering. It stands as a symbol of beginnings, the first heartbeat that gave AMC the courage to challenge Detroit. At classic car shows in Wisconsin or Michigan, one might still find a few early Rambler Rebels or Ambassadors restored to their original glory with the 250 under the hood. Restorers preserve these engines not just for their rarity, but for their historical significance. They mark the moment AMC became a true automaker, no longer borrowing engines from Nash or Hudson. Within the AMC restorers community, the 250 is affectionately called the heartbeat of independence. Devotees spend hundreds of hours tracking down parts, recreating components, even casting new pistons and heads just to bring the 250 back to life as it was in 1956. It's not merely restoration. It's a tribute to the bravery of a small company that dared to dream big. Though its output was modest compared to the giants of its day, the 250 holds a special place in enthusiasts' hearts because it represents AMC's first true step into the V8 world, where ingenuity mattered more than brute force. If you've ever believed that only the big automakers could achieve greatness, the AMC 250 V8 stands as living proof to the contrary. Born from limitation, this small engine wrote the first chapter in the bold story of a company that dared to be different. Have you ever seen or heard the rumble of a real AMC 250? Share your story or memory in the comments below, because every surviving 250 today is a priceless piece of history. And if you love tales of machines once forgotten but never defeated, hit subscribe and join me in uncovering more mechanical legends, where every engine's roar carries the soul of an era that refused to fade away.